Hey there, it's Laura here from Laura's Creative Pages and Cards, and we're going to make this stunning happy birthday card. I love the colour combination on this, and so let's get started. We will need our card base when we're going to do this in the landscape, and then we're going to need this candle paper here, which is 1.5 by 5.5. Then we're going to need the nectarine piece, which is 1/2 by 5.5. We're going to follow that one up with a piece of ballerina card. That one's going to be cut at 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Then a lemonade square, which is cut at 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. A white daisy square cut at 2.5 by 2.5. Then we're going to need another piece of nectarine. This one's cut at 5/8 by 2.5. We're going to need this raspberry one cut at 3.5 by 1.5. And then we're going to need this happy birthday cut from the zip strip, which is cut at 1/2 by 2 3/8. And then to finish it up, we just need some of the printed paper so that we can cut some icons out of it to make the embellishments for the card. Perfect. Let's get started by attaching this candle paper to the front of our card to start off with. So I'm just running on 3 pieces of tape on that, lining up my card base on my Versamat so that I've got the guide, and then I'm attaching this about 3/8 from the bottom of the card. So when I press that down, I'm only pressing on the bottom. I don't want the top to quite stick down yet, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this nectarine piece beneath it. So I'm just sliding it underneath just for a different look. So we're not getting that join seam where they're butted up against each other, rather we're getting an overlap look. So it's a different look that we've done that we haven't done so far. Okay, now we're going to attach the ballerina cardstock to the front of our card, and I'm attaching it with 3D foam tape. So I'm just cutting off a rather large length, cutting it in half and adding it to the cardstock, and then another smaller piece just to add some in the middle to stop sag. So I'm just going to place this one here in the middle of the card, and I love the 3D foam tape just giving that little extra bit of dimension. So that goes into the center and just a little bit up from the bottom of the candles. Next, we're going to add on the lemonade. Now, part of this lemonade card square is going to be attached to the ballerina card, and the bottom of it is going to be attached to the card front. So I need to get the same level. So that's why I'm adding 3D foam tape only to the bottom of the square, the lemonade square, and then just tape runner to the top of it. So when I place this onto the card, I'll have the flat adhesive sticking to the ballerina card and the foam tape sticking to the card, so that we get a level, even and level playing field on this particular part. Right, now that's on, we're going to add the white daisy, and that just fits directly in the center of the lemonade square. So that just needs 4 pieces of tape runner in each corner, and that one goes straight on the top in the center there. So no stamping on this white daisy, it's just background. Next, we're going to add on this nectarine little rectangle, and I'm also going to attach this with some 3D foam tape. So what I'm going to make sure is that I don't place any 3D foam tape to the far right end, because that's going to be overhanging. So I'm making sure that where I place it, it's going to actually be stuck to the white daisy, and it's just going to overhang without any tape on the right hand side, and that's totally fine because it's a very small piece. Now I'm taking this happy birthday from the zip strip, and isn't that just so cool that we've got this happy birthdays available to us on the zip strip, and we can use those on our cards as well in varying ways. So I'm just adding a little bit of the stitching with my journal pen around the edge, just to make it sort of pop off the card a little bit more and be highlighted. And once that's on, I'm just going to use my tape runner to put some tape on the back and fit that into the little nectarine rectangle there. Fantastic, this card is coming together quite quickly. It's another simple one, but it's all about layers and having things offset, which is a little bit different. Now, I did go ahead and pre-cut all of my embellishments out just with my scissors, and of course you could mix it up or vary the little embellishments that you want to add to your card. Any of the images that come off that printed paper would be perfect. Alright, the only bit of stamping for this card here is the outline happy, and so I'm just inking it up in my black, and I'm going to stamp it on that raspberry, and that raspberry is actually on the light side of the raspberry rather than the dark side. I've gone for the lighter tone in this particular cardstock. Then I just need to grab my scissors and I'm going to trim these out really close to the edge, a very small border, and I'm just going to snip them and go cut around them, and I'm going to have them all pre-cut out. Ta-da! Right, so let's bring this in, and before I actually stick everything down, just to make it a bit easier, I'm going to actually add the journal borders now, because if I start sticking everything down, I'm going to have a few more things in the way and it will make it a little bit difficult. So I'm quickly throwing on that journal border to the white daisy piece and also around the outside edge of the ballerina. Lovely. All right, so everything that's now left to be stuck on is going to be stuck on with 3D foam tape, as in the embellishments. So I'm just placing tiny bits of foam tape onto the back of each of those stars, and then I'll be doing the presents as well, and just adding that 3D foam tape to give it dimension. And it doesn't matter if it's sticking to the card base or to a piece of card, it's just getting that thin 3D foam tape. So we're getting lots of variances in heights and dimension, which is really fun. Now for the happy, I've done it slightly different. What I've done this time is every alternate letter is stuck up with 3D foam tape. So the H, the middle P and the Y are all going to be stuck on with 3D foam tape. And then the A and the second P, they're going to be stuck on just with flat double-sided tape. So it's going high, low, high, low, high. And it's just a fun and different, unique way to put those letters onto the card. And I just love the variants that you can get by just alternating the thin 3D foam tape and your tape runner as well. So that's something fun that we haven't done before in this series. Amazing, we're at day 22 and there's still so many different ideas that you can learn along the way. So I'm just going to stick that A in between the hap, and I'm going to stick this P in between the pie, and that will be the card completed. So thank you so much for joining me on day 22, card 22. I appreciate that you're here. Bye now.